All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, last year we saw two teams from this division, the National League West, win more than 100 games. But what is the likelihood of that happening again? Now, you look at the Los Angeles Dodgers, and of course, you think about what the Dodgers have done in the past decade or so. They're looking to win their ninth National League West title in the last 10 years. And of course, they finally won it all in 2020, and they felt like they had what it took to come back and do it again in 2021. They ran into a very good Atlanta Braves team in the National League Championship Series, while they were also done in by some injuries. Now, fast forwarding to this year, this is year number 7 for Dave Roberts as the manager of the Dodgers, and he just received a 3-year extension from the club. And he's also been very confident, publicly at least, as far as his what he expects from this team, and he feels like the Dodgers do have what it takes to win it all. Now, we saw the Dodgers lose Max Scherzer and Kenley Jansen in free agency. Max Scherzer is now a New York Met, and of course, Kenley Jansen is an Atlanta Brave. But that does not stop the Dodgers from going out there and making moves. They also lost Corey Seager to the Texas Rangers, but nonetheless, we saw the Dodgers pick up Freddie Freeman. The former National League MVP is now a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And of course, Freeman had a big hand in the Braves being able to win the World Series last year. And now the Dodgers are hopeful that he can bring some of that mojo west with him. And I think, what the Dodgers are going to get from Freeman, they're going to get a very motivated guy because Freddie Freeman is still a quality player, first and foremost. And when you've been a part of an organization as long as he has with the Braves, he definitely felt slighted as far as the Braves going out there and making the trade with Oakland for Matt Olson. And, Freeman felt like, what, you guys didn't want me. So I think Freddie Freeman is definitely going to be motivated to show that he's worth every penny with the Dodgers and also try to find a way to stick it to the Braves. Now, another question for the Dodgers. You got a pair of former MVPs on your roster. I'm talking about Cody Bellinger and Mookie Betts. And of course, Mookie Betts won his MVP in the American League several years back as a member of the Boston Red Sox. But the Dodgers need both of these guys to come back to the form when they were MVPs. And I think that's going to be very important for the Dodgers as they look to win this division again this year. You brought back Trey Turner. Of course, they acquired him along with Scherzer from the Washington Nationals last year. Turner is excellent on the base paths due to his speed. And I think he's going to have once again be an impact player for the Dodgers. Now, I talked about no Max Scherzer in this rotation. You still have Walker Bueller. The Dodgers re-signed veteran starting pitcher Clayton Kershaw, and you also have Julio Urias. And for me, you always know that the Dodgers are going to make a move prior to the trade deadline, so that's always big. So once again, I think that's definitely going to put the Dodgers in the mix. You look at the San Diego Padres going a little bit further south in the great state of California. For the Padres, after making the playoffs in 2020, the expectations were high for them last year. But after a solid start to the season where they were trying to keep up with both the Dodgers and Giants, they really fell off a cliff to the point that the Padres weren't even able to finish with a winning record. Out with Jace Tingler as the manager, and in is former Oakland Athletics skipper Bob Melvin. And you think about what Melvin meant to that Oakland A's system for so long. He just kept the machinery going, keeping the A's as one of the top teams in the American League West. And the Padres are hopeful that he can bring some of that magic with him down the coast to the 619. Now, the Fernando Tatis wrist injury is not going to help this club coming out of the chute. It means that there's going to be more placed on the bat of Manny Machado as he's going to have to look to carry this lineup. Eric Hosmer and Will Myers. You heard about the Padres trying to ship both of these guys or shop both of these guys this off season. Will they be able to turn around and have positive impacts for this club here in 2022? We'll have to wait and see. Now, pitching wise, San Diego was eighth in the NL last year in team earned run average, but they're going to need to get more out of both Blake Shell and Yu Darvish in that starting rotation this year. Looking at the defending National League West champions, and I'm talking about the San Francisco Giants. The Giants came out of nowhere last year to win 107 games. They bested the Dodgers by 1 game for the division crown. And then for the first time in postseason history, these two longtime rivals finally met. It was an epic 5 game series. It's too bad that it wasn't a 7 game series. But nonetheless, the Dodgers, pardon me, the Giants won 107 games and they were still done after the NLDS. So you look at the Giants, they want to try to stay in that mix to be World Series contenders. Skipper Gabe Kapler is really beginning to entrench himself in the Bay Area with this club. The retirement of catcher Buster Posey is something that cannot be glossed over. He had a tremendous impact for this Giants team for so many years. And of course, he was a part of those 3 Giant championship teams in 2010, 2012, and then, of course, 2014. Now, even without Posey, and of course, the Giants are going to miss him, San Francisco still has a veteran club with the likes of Evan Longoria, Brandon Crawford, Brandon Belt, and of course, Wilmer Flores. The arrival of Jock Peterson, and of course, we heard all about Jocktober last year when Peterson helped the Braves win. And of course, prior to that, Jock Peterson was a member of the Dodgers when they won it all a couple of years ago. So you look at it for me, Jock Peterson, he knows a thing or two as far as winning in the month of October. And if you're San Francisco, you're definitely happy to have that guy in your lineup and more importantly in your clubhouse. Now, San Francisco still is going to have one of the better pitching rotations in baseball. They lost Kevin Gausman in free agency, but they picked up Carlos Rodon. You have Logan Webb, Alex Wood, and Anthony Descofini. You got some solid arms in that rotation that Kapler puts out there. Only the Dodgers had a better team earned run average than San Francisco last year. And if the Giants can once again get that quality pitching, they're definitely going to be in the mix to win the NL West and, of course, get to the postseason. Now, you look at the Colorado Rockies, and for manager Bud Black, will his Rockies be able to make some noise in the National League West? We'll have to wait and see. Surprising that Colorado went out there and gave big bucks to Chris Bryant. Not to say that he didn't deserve the big bucks. I was just shocked to see Colorado do it. So for Bryant, you have to ask yourself, will he return to MVP form? We saw him be solid on the second half of the season last year as a member of the Giants. And now, he's going to be playing in that thin Rocky Mountain air. And I think, Bryant definitely has the potential to go back to being what he was a couple of years ago with the Cubs as far as one of the better bats in the National League, especially if he's healthy. Make no mistake about it, Colorado is going to hit with the likes of CJ Crone, Ryan McMahon, and Charlie Blackman. But like it always is, for the most part, throughout their history, it's the pitching. Colorado was 12th last year in the NL in team ERA, and they've got to try to find a way to get some pitching if they're going to keep up. And the last team in this division, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, Arizona lost 110 games last year, so when you have a season that bad, there's only one way for you to go, and that's up. So that's what the Diamondbacks have to do. Torey Lovullo, he's in his 6th year as the skipper with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Let's see if he can find a way to turn things around for this club. One bright spot for Colorado heading into this season is going to be Ketel Marte, but I'm not sure if he is going to be enough to keep Arizona in contention in this division. You look at it, a lot of people are looking at the Dodgers and the Giants once again to battle it out for the division crown. I think the Dodgers are a little bit better than the Giants, so I'm going to say that I'm picking the Dodgers to win this division. I still think that the Giants are going to be in the mix, excuse me, for a postseason berth. I just don't think they're going to be able to get this division crown. I think that the Tatis injury is really going to hinder the Padres, as the season begins because of what he can do. This guy, he is one of the better players in the National League, one of the better young players, and not having him in their lineup is definitely going to hurt. So I think it's all about the Dodgers in the West. I'm not going to count the Giants out for postseason berth. But with that said, at the start of the 2022 MLB season right around the corner, I think we are in for some fun filled action out west, but especially between the Dodgers and Giants. So let's see what happens when the season begins. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.